Hey guys, here's Tech and welcome to Ulefone Metal Review. It's the grey version and we bought it from Amazon. But let's start with a brief unboxing. As you open the box, you'll find a phone wrapped in a cellophane bag, held in position by a sort of sponge and a cartoon support. But put it apart and see what's next in the box. We'll find a screaming SIM extractor, the micro USB cable and the 5V 1A adapter that unfortunately you cannot use to fast charge your phone. But it's not handy here, so surprise of surprise, you'll find also a beautiful leatherette flip cover with a sort of rough plot black colored and with a PVC housing for your phone and the holes on the back for the system speaker, the camera and the fingerprint sensor. Take it apart and we find also a quick start guide and a tempered glass H9 you can apply to the screen of the phone to prevent scratch and damages. So let's take it from this little plastic bag and turn it around with the milled power button on the right side. On the top, as you can see, the volume rocker, and waiting the power on, you can see the Ulefone logo on the screen. On the top, the 3.5mm audio jack in 71mm, and the left side the SIM tray in 153mm, when you can insert two SIM or a SIM with a microSD expansion. On the bottom, the micro USB and the all-in system mic for calls and video. On the back there is the loudspeaker, the Ulefone logo, and the fingerprint sensor with the single-tone flashlight and with the 8-megapixel Sony camera interpolated up to 13 megapixel. At the first boot, the phone will ask you the SIM pin and a sign or a pin depending on your preference. So let's see how the fingerprint scanner works. As you can see, it's fast and precise. Maybe it works 7-8 times on 10 attempts. So let me adjust the brightness, is good, and let's see the soft touch on the bottom of the display, the back button, the home button and the multitasking. With the long pressure on the home button you can enter the multitasking, and with the option button you can manage the UI. As you can see on the left side, Ulefone make a sort of panel about photo and music, so let's try the loudspeaker with a song. So let's take the volume up and let's hear how it works. It's so loud and it works fine, but at some tone there is some distortion, but for the price it's good. So let's stop the music and move to the settings of UI to deactivate the Ulefone panel, the one of gallery and the one of music. And let's move to Antutu benchmark to see what is the score that the phone reached in this benchmark. It's a great score, it's about 13,700 with a great performance in CPU and user interface and discrete performance in RAM and 3D graphics. But let's open CPU-Z to see what is the hardware inside of this phone. As you can see, for the first line, the SoC is a MediaTek 7753 of 1.3 GHz octa-core and with a graphics card Mali T720. The display is an HD unit and there are 3 GB of RAM with 16 GB of internal storage that you can expand up to 128 GB. But let's see how the display works. We have just prepared a test folder with some test images, and so move to the gallery, from this to the gallery, and the album is just select, and the test folder will start from the first image, but let me adjust the brightness to make good in camera. So let's start with the first image. The leaves are very well reproduced and the colors are fine, but as you can see on the second one there is a little bit of saturation when the colors are vived, and the RGB scale is well reproduced apart from the blue, which is not good, and the green and red that are fine and very well reproduced. The pixel grid And the black, yes, the black is not good. When you tilt the phone to a certain angle you cannot see, but it turns into blue. The pixel grid is well reproduced and display is well mounted on the phone. The white is not too good because it turns into gray when you tilt the phone, but it's acceptable. Yeah, the brightness and the colors in general is acceptable. So let's try a call through the loudspeaker calling the 133 and take the volume to the maximum level, and let's hear what came from the speaker. The quality is good, even if it rasps some time, but it's good to make a call with loudspeaker. So let's hand the call with the hand button, and you can see the unknown bug of the MediaTek SOC. So if you enter the register, you can see the unknown account unless of the 133 we have just called one time ago. So move to the Facebook page manager to see how is the loading time under a Wi-Fi connection. I remember you it support a BGN connection with 2.4 GHz. The render is good, and as the page has load the content you can navigate or you browse very well. So let's try the keyboard. Maybe it's not full responsive, there are some lags and you can lose some characters, but there is also the swipe keyboard that can help you to write something. As you can see, there are some lags, not so good. So move to the browser to test it, and let's try to load the Republica site first, a mobile version, and then in the desktop one. As you can see, typing Republica.it. So let's see how it works. It's loading the page and the render is not too good, but you can browse so good on the page. Let's move to the desktop one. We are waiting for the loading of the page, but you can just browse. You can pinch to zoom, you can pan and scroll the page very well. So yeah, we can promote this phone in browsing and surfing on internet. We just waiting for the full charge of the page, the full loading, and as you can see it's good in pinch to zoom and scrolling, so we can promote definitely this phone. So let's test the Mali GPU with the Real Racing. We have downloaded some minutes ago, so let's start. We'll give some information about the battery. We do not have too much time to test it, but we can assure you you can cover the entire day with a single charge. So let's put the volume all the way down, so we don't need it, so let's put it all the way down, like this, and wait for the loading. Okay, we can calibrate the wheel all the way to the left, all the way to the right. It's so difficult. Okay, as you can see, loading time is acceptable and the details are very good. At the beginning, the frame rate, as you can see from the video, is constant, and maybe you'll see a drop of the frame only at the first turn on the left, but it's enjoyable, trust me, it's so good. As you can see, the drop of the frame is evident, but it's still enjoyable and you can play it. So let's exit brutally from Real Racing and let's clean the multitasking and move to test how much touches the display, or better the touchscreen support. So let's put the phone on the table and start from the pinky, the ring finger, the middle finger, the first finger and the thumb. And as you can see on the top right corner of the phone, you can see at maximum 5 touches. So the touchscreen of this phone support at maximum 5 touches, and for the price is just fine. So let's move to the camera And let's try to make a shot to the Android robot. So let's put it under the camera and try to focus on it and shot. So as you can see, the focus is really slow, and from the picture there is a very bad quality. I can try to zoom the photo so you can see some noise even on the arm and on the head of the robot, that there are the focus part of the picture. So the part where I focus on with my thumb. So let's move to the option and let's see some mode. There is many settings. There are video mode, the geotag, the beauty face mode. You can adjust the exposition, the white balance. You can select the stabilization, the voice capturing, the face detection, and you can select even the auto shot. Also, you can select the 8 megapixel mode and the 13 megapixel mode interpolated with the Sony camera. And in video settings, you'll find the noise reduction, the voice recording enabled button, and the time-lapse option that you can modify based on your preference. On the main screen there is also the HDR mode you can use to get more brilliant and quality photo on the direct sunlight. The settings are customized by Ulefone. As you can see, all the categories are customized by the Ulefone brand. And if you go in phone info, at the bottom of the screen you'll see the Android version 6.0. Let me adjust the brightness. You can see the phone version 6.0 of the software of the Android Marshmallow, and if you click on it or you keep pressing, you'll find the great game, but I'm not good gaming. So let's move to the firmware updates. As you can see, there is no auto updates, but if you go to Ulefone site, you'll find the latest updates you can install through the tool Ulefone made. So let's move to the security. As you can see, you can manage the fingerprint. You can register up to 5 fingerprints, and you can use it to lock third-party or system application to have an exclusive access through your finger. So let's move to the connectivity settings. We have just a surprise. There is the turbo download that you can use to fast download your content using both Wi-Fi and LTE. And if you move to display setting, can be adjusted in saturation and mode, opening the side menu with the top button at the upper left corner. As you can see, you can adjust the contrast and the image brightness, and also the image mode with the image user mode. And even the sensors portfolio is complete. As you can see at the bottom of the page, there are the G sensor, the geomagnet, and the pressure sensor calibration, but we have encountered a bug that does not let you use the gyroscope with Pokemon Go because it does not recognize the sensor. So let's clean the multitasking and come to conclusions for this review of Ulefone Metal Grey. The build quality is so good, but the back is made of real metal and you can hear some cracking only in plastic parts that house the connectivity. The SIM tray is really cheap, and if I were you, I'll be careful to insert into the phone. The fingerprint sensor performs well, even the speaker, while the camera is to be thrown away, unfortunately. There is a notification LED that notifies you the message or the phone calls, and the front camera is only 2 megapixels. At the bottom, you'll find just one mic that you can use to phone call and to record video. The fingerprint sensor, as you can see, performs well. But in general, for 150 euro is a very good phone that you can buy from Amazon, combined with an exceptional processor, 3 GB of RAM and a fingerprint sensor. So it will make a pleasure to use. And that's all from Sada Tech, and see you to the next review.